Welcome to TPM Vid's Disney Beat, where we talk about all things Disney. If you're new to the channel and like what you see, hit that subscribe button and click the bell icon to be notified when we upload a new video. You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. That spooky time of year has fallen on Walt Disney World once again. It's the time of year where Magic Kingdom lets the fog roll in, they unleash those Disney villains, and you get a little trick with lots of treats. For the first time since 2019, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is finally back. The special ticketed event runs on select nights at Magic Kingdom until October 31st. Now, not only is this one of the only times that everyone regardless of age can dress up as their favorite Disney characters, but there are so many other unique opportunities that can only be experienced on these nights. So get ready for a complete rundown of the 2022 party. I'll give you some important tips and tricks as we count down the top 10 must-dos at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Number 10. With Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, you need to arrive early. On party nights, Magic Kingdom closes at 6 p.m. The actual party doesn't begin until 7 p.m., but if you have a ticket to the event, you're able to get into the park at 4 p.m., and you don't need a separate reservation for the party. Once you check in, you'll receive a colored wristband so cast members know which guests are attending the party, and you're able to enjoy the park for a few hours before the event even starts. Most of the rides and attractions are open during the party except for the ones listed here. So getting there early allows you to experience these attractions until 6 p.m. And it's a good idea to get on the more popular rides earlier rather than later, like Splash Mountain, Thunder Mountain, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. With a lot of the party dates sold out this year, you'll want to save time for the attractions with the special Halloween overlays as well as the entertainment. But more about all that in a little bit. If you found yourself at Magic Kingdom during the day but also have party tickets, you can get a wristband from one of the 3 sign-in locations in the park. There's one in Tomorrowland to the left of where Stitch's Great Escape used to be, one at Tortuga Tavern in Adventureland, and one in front of the Fantasy Fair gift shop in Fantasyland. Now you're all set for the spooky festivities. Number 9. Trick-or-treating is a must-do at the Halloween party, and there is no shortage of candy and
chocolate, dark chocolate, the only candy I like. No.
The entrance for Halloween party guests who aren't already spending the day at Magic Kingdom is through Market Street. You used to get the trick-or-treating bags here, but now you're directed into the Tomorrowland Terrace to get your bag and your first treat. This year you get these really cute 50th anniversary bags, and they're a thicker reusable material compared to previous years. Then you get a full-size package of the crunchy cookie M&Ms, which were really good. If you're entering the party through the main gate, Tomorrowland Terrace is the first treat location open and ready for guests that arrive at 4 p.m. And this one closes around 8 p.m. If you're already in the park and get a wristband at one of the other locations, they also have treat bags there with M&Ms, so there's no real reason to pass through Market Street, unless you want to grab some pictures or just see the bypass. Now, all other 13 treat locations aren't usually open until 7 p.m., but they do remain open all night. It's really easy to spot the treat signs around the park, and they're also listed on the park map with a little lollipop icon. There's a variety of Mars chocolate and candy at each station, so be prepared to get a lot of treats at the Halloween party. Now, a fun little part of the candy trail at Mickey's PhilharMagic is that old Disney cartoons play in the theater for the entire night. It makes a great place to sit down for a bit and soak in that AC, especially on really hot nights. Trick-or-treating is a must-do, and even if you do see a line at the treat stations, they usually move pretty fast. Now, if someone in your party has a food allergy, you can get a teal-colored bag from the cast member when you sign in. Each treat station will then give you a token which can be redeemed at the allergy-friendly treat centers in Liberty Square and on Main Street. None of the treat locations ever run out of candy, so even if you wait until the end of the party, you'll still get a bag full of candy. Number 8. In 2018, Disney introduced Halloween overlays to some of the park's attractions, and this year, they're back. Since we've just talked about trick-or-treating, Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor offers a candy trail with 2 treat stations, but the attraction also operates with a Halloween overlay. Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor closes at 6 p.m. to prepare, then at 7 p.m. the doors open and the cast of monsters that usually entertain you during the day appear intermittently the entire evening, interacting with guests as they walk through to get candy.
Yeah, on her driving coach.
On her driving coach?
Yeah, I noticed she's not wearing a seatbelt though, and this lady is.
Each set is about 7 minutes long, and you're able to just sit in the theater and watch, so I highly recommend staying for a set. It's quite entertaining. Since the show revolves heavily on improv, you never know who will get picked on.
I think that's one of Sam's relatives.
This is still an attraction highlight at the Halloween party, plus it's a great place to cool down with some AC. Definitely make a point of stopping into Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor for some sweet treats and some sweet jokes.
Man, this Halloween thing is hard.
Number 7. Another Halloween overlay that's back is Pirates of the Caribbean, which once again involves live actors in the queue and throughout the ride. Pirates is a classic attraction, but these live actors add such a nice touch since they can interact directly with the guests in the boat.
We wouldn't want anything bad to happen to the treasure. We just look after it.
Now, in the past, Pirates of the Caribbean used to go down for about an hour to switch to the overlay, but this year, the ride stays open all night and only goes down for a couple minutes. Cast members will let guests go through the queue for the normal ride until the line of guests inside is long enough to begin sending guests who want to experience the overlay through the queue. This shot was from about 6:52, then by 6:55 we were sent through the queue. So I do suggest getting there just before 7 to ride because the line did get quite long once I got off the ride. If you don't get there at the start of the party, then I suggest waiting until later on in the evening once the waits have died down a bit. Number 6. 2 other attraction overlays that returned for 2022 are the Mad Tea Party and Space Mountain. With the Mad Tea Party, expect a funky lighting system along with a cool new soundtrack. This overlay begins around nightfall, and whether you actually ride it or just watch, it's a fun, spooky spin on a classic Disney ride. Then heading over to Space Mountain, the outside of the ride has received this new funky Halloween lighting package. Then once you're inside, you can expect to zip through the ride in complete darkness, along with a special soundtrack that plays in the show building. Every light in the attraction is turned off, including the tunnels. I mean, this is actual ride footage, and you can see it's pretty dark. And it actually makes the ride feel a lot faster than normal. Now with Space Mountain, they switched to the overlay once the last day guest gets off the ride. So this means it could start much earlier than 7 p.m. or closer to 7 p.m. Your best bet is to ask a cast member just to make sure. Now the line outside may look long at times, but since there's no lightning lane for party nights, it does move pretty quick. Number 5. The great thing about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is the atmosphere entertainment. Now, nothing says Halloween more than the spookiest attraction at Magic Kingdom. So, over at Haunted Mansion, a couple of the comical ghosts from the ride have escaped and are outside to entertain and interact with guests.
Welcome to the mansion.
The ghosts used to be on the front lawn, but now you can find them in the graveyard on the left-hand side just before you enter the mansion. Then in Frontierland, you're able to enjoy the musical antics of the Cadaver Dans. The Dapper Dans get a little spooky facelift for the party and sing some Halloween favorites. And for all you Goofy movie fans, new for 2022 is the Pre-Parade with Max dressed as Powerline. Now, if you want to catch this, you need to be on Main Street. That's the only place they do the Pre-Parade. It begins at the top of Main Street and makes its way down to the end of the parade route. Now, there are 2 show stops, one in the middle of Main Street, then one in front of the train station. The pre-parade here on Main Street usually starts at 9:15 before the first parade and 11:15 for the second. It's so cool seeing Max as Powerline here at Walt Disney World since he's such a rare character to see. And since we're on the topic of characters, let's move on to number 4. Disney characters are another big part of the Halloween party, and there are 2 different ways to physically meet your favorite Disney pals. One way is through the dance parties. Fantasyland is home to the Storybook Circus Disney Junior Jam, where you get to groove to the beat with Vampirina, Timon, Doc McStuffins, and Fancy Nancy. Moving over to Tomorrowland, you'll find the monstrous Scream-O-Ween Ball at the Rocket Tower Plaza stage. Here, you can bust a move with characters from Monsters, Inc., including Sully and the one and only Mike Wazowski. Also new for 2022 at Cosmic Rays Starlight Cafe is the Zombeats Bash, and this is to celebrate the release of Zombies 3. Your fellow zombies, cheerleaders, werewolves, and aliens all strut their stuff and lead guests through a night full of dancing. All 3 dance parties run continuously until 12 a.m. Now, another way to meet characters is through traditional character meet and greets. These are extremely popular this year, and even the not-so-rare characters had long waits, so expect to wait at least a half an hour for these character meet and greets. Now, the park map lists all the character greeting locations with a bat symbol, but the Disney World app also gives you an actual list of characters. A lot of the rare characters from previous years did not return, but the longest waits this year were Elvis Stitch in Tomorrowland, and of course, Jack and Sally over in the Town Square Theater. At one point, their wait was 2 hours long. Most of the meet and greets start right at 7 p.m., but lining up early isn't a bad idea, and Jack and Sally's meet and greet actually begins around 4:30. If you're unsure of where and when to line up for which characters, a cast member is always around to answer your questions. Oh, and there's also some roaming characters you can catch too, like the Country Bears in Frontierland, as well as Drizella and Anastasia in Fantasyland. Later in the evening, I did notice the lines for traditional meet and greets were a bit shorter, and a great time to meet the characters is during one of the parade performances, which we'll actually discuss next. Number 3. With that catchy theme song, Mickey's Boo to You Halloween Parade is a quintessential Disney Halloween experience. Now there's 2 opportunities to catch the parade each night, once at 9:15 and then at 11:15. The first parade is usually a bit more crowded than the second, but generally you can always get a great spot anywhere along the parade route. Now, Mickey's Boo to You Parade is actually the first parade back at Magic Kingdom since reopening in 2020 with a full cast of performers. So that's really exciting. There's over 100 performers to be exact, and it's full of a lot of spooky energy. The parade features 5 segments that represent each of the lands at Magic Kingdom, and a big highlight of Boo to You has always been the Haunted Mansion segment. I mean, I could watch the Gravediggers the entire time. And you cannot forget about those other Disney villains we just love to hate. Now, if you do have your heart set on a specific spot, I do suggest getting there at least 15 to 20 minutes before. Arriving a bit early also ensures you don't miss the Headless Horseman. He's always been a crowd favorite and makes his appearance about 5 minutes before the parade starts. Now do note that if the ground is wet, they won't send him out, but if he doesn't appear in the first parade, there's always the possibility that he may come for the second. There's a video of the full Boo to You parade from this year on the channel, and it's linked in the card on the right-hand side. Number 2. Hocus Pocus Villain Spelltacular is still one of the best shows the Castle Stage has ever seen. Now, every night gives you multiple opportunities to catch the show. Until September 30th, there are 3 performances a night, at 8:35, 10:45, and 12 midnight. Then, from October 2nd, there's an additional performance at 7:40. So you'll get 3 or 4 performances in total to catch all your favorite Disney villains and the Sanderson sisters in this wicked celebration. I'd say the first show is definitely the busiest, with the show at midnight giving you the least amount of crowds. Plus, the midnight show does technically extend your time at the park since the party ends at midnight. Hocus Pocus Villain Spelltacular will have you dancing and singing along, and it's a great way to continue the Halloween celebrations at Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party. Number 1. It wouldn't be a night at Magic Kingdom without fireworks. So at the Halloween party, get ready for Disney's Not So Spooky Spectacular, which lights up the Magic Kingdom sky at 10:15 p.m. Now this show is truly a spectacular, and it's hosted by the one and only Jack Skellington.
Good evening, dear friends. It's wonderful to have you here. For I, Jack Skellington, have a tale to tell.
This amazing Jack Skellington puppet opens and closes the show as he tells the story of Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy entering a haunted house filled with many spooky surprises. It's a simple yet effective story that gets you right in the Halloween spirit. Plus, it has a catchy soundtrack with that classic Disney sound. I really do love this show. The crowds are nothing like normal firework days at the park, so again, if you're in the hub around 15 to 20 minutes before, you'll be able to grab the perfect spot to watch the show. So have you been to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party? And do you plan on going this year? What are you looking forward to seeing the most? I'd love to know. Leave a comment down below to start a conversation, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video.